Hello everyone, and today in this IELTS Learning Tips video we're going to talk about planning writing. And I know everybody's groaning because nobody likes to talk about planning and people don't like to do it because there isn't enough time, etc, etc, etc ad infinitum. However, it is a very useful tool, and to my mind it is the thing that can make or break your writing in terms of time, accuracy and everything else. So bear with me, I'm going to just go very quickly. It's quite a short video today, so I'm going to go quickly through why you should do it, what it can do for you and how you can do it. And hopefully there might be one or two of you out there that will try to do this. And believe you me, whenever I work with students, the first thing I do is get them to plan, and it does transform the way they write and transforms how long it takes them to write. And they nearly always say, I feel much happier about the writing now. So before I put the slideshow up, I just want to remind you about my website, IELTSlearningtips.com, and there's a link below, and also my Facebook group. So if you are looking for more information, more help and support, and a few free resources to help you, you can find them in those two places. So planning, even I plan. Great writers plan their writing. You know, you can't write on the hoof. Nobody can write well on the hoof. Normally when you write something, you would draft it, and then you would check it, and then you would rewrite it. Now, unfortunately, in an exam situation, you can't do that. And that's why the time on planning is well spent, because in the absence of being able to do one or two drafts, you have to have a way of making sure that your writing will come out with everything it needs for the band that you want. And the only way you can ensure that is to plan it. If you write from your head straight onto the page, that's what we call stream of consciousness writing, almost. And the chances of mistakes is really high. So planning, don't forget to do it. Okay, so I picked up this question the other day. It was somebody in an IELTS Facebook group. And this question tells me, and told other people as well, especially the teachers that were in the group, that they really misunderstood about the writing. So do you need to put one advantage and one disadvantage in the main body? When should you write both views? When should you not write both views? People keep giving different answers, so I don't know. Total confusion, total confusion. So the answer to this question is only when the question asks you to do that. So if the question asks you to present two sides, then do it. If it doesn't, then don't. Because if you do the wrong thing, it's going to affect your score. Basically, read the question and do what it tells you to do. So if it asks you to describe problems and solutions, then obviously you need to have problems in one paragraph and solutions in another. If it's advantages and disadvantages, then you have to have both. But sometimes it might just ask you about the advantages of a situation. And in that situation, you only need to discuss the advantages. It's not asking you about the disadvantages. If it's asking you to discuss two viewpoints, some people believe this while others believe that, then you need to put both in. But if it's asking you whether you agree or disagree, then you don't need to do both, because presumably you are on one side or the other. So the key thing is that you need to look at the question and analyze it, and don't have a ready answer, because there isn't a ready answer. Before you go into the exam, you have no idea what's going to be on the question paper. Okay, so the first thing when you get your question paper or in your preparation is to read carefully and analyse the question. That will tell you what you need to do. And the most important part of the question is the last bit, where it says, do you agree or disagree? What are the problems? Are there any solutions? What measures? So this part of the question is the most important part, because this is telling you what to do. The rest of the question is background. It's telling you what the topic is, and it's telling you what the situation is. So there are three parts to the question. There'll be the topic, there'll be the situation. So is it a discussion, some people, other people? Is it a problem solution? Is it an advantage, disadvantage? And then it will ask you what you need to know about this. So if you agree, then you have to explain that you agree. If you disagree, you tell us that you disagree. If you are asked for your opinion, then you must also include that. So that last bit is the important part for the direction that you take. There is never a one-size-fits-all. Even if you see a topic that is very similar to one that you've done in your preparation when you get into the exam, be very careful, because quite often it will be slightly different. And if you put down the answer that you did during your preparation and the question is slightly different, then it's not going to fit. So take each question at face value, certainly use some of the information and the vocabulary, but don't expect it to be exactly the same. You can't do this. And if you do it, and you have memorized sentences and memorized parts of the paragraph, the examiner will see that. However, these things you can prepare beforehand. You can have vocabulary ready. And I don't mean topic vocabulary. I mean, adjectives, adverbs, certain parts of vocabulary that you can use before. You can have structures ready. You can decide, I'm going to use firstly, secondly. I'm going to use on the one hand, on the other hand. I'm going to use a gerund or a present participle to start my paragraph. So there are lots of things like that that you can prepare beforehand. What linking words are you going to use? Okay, you might want to use furthermore, moreover, but don't forget about things like nonetheless, nevertheless, which are a little bit more unusual. Also, some language devices like not only but also, or a conditional sentence. Think about having a passive sentence. So all of this language work can be prepared before, but the actual topic and the answer cannot. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is analyze the question and find out exactly what it's asking you to do. Then you need to decide what information you're going to put into your answer. So this is your ideas, yeah? So jot down a few ideas that you want to use. Not too many, you only need 2 or 3 really. Then decide what you're going to put in each paragraph. So which ideas are going to go in one paragraph, which ideas in the other. And as I say, you only need 1 or 2. One good way is to have a main idea and then a subsequent idea, which you can use with moreover or furthermore. Okay. Once you've done that, then think about the linking words that you want to use, because they're pretty universal, so you can use them all over. And also jot down some vocabulary and some sentence structures that you want to use as well. And this will take you less than 5 minutes. And it's called planning. And it is the most useful thing you can do in your writing. Okay, so when you've done all of that, you'll be ready to start. So, as I said before, it's the most useful tool, and this is what it can do for you. It helps you to organize your ideas before you start writing. And that means that when you write, you are not thinking about ideas, you are thinking about language. You are thinking about grammar, vocabulary, punctuation, spelling. And that means you're going to make fewer mistakes. If you're thinking about these linguistic things, you will meet the requirements. You will not repeat the same word more than once. You will make sure that you've got some complex sentences because you'll have some language devices to help you to do it that you've written down and say, I want to use a conditional here, or I want to use a not only but also. And the examiner will look and say, whoa, complex sentences, good. So you'll meet all the requirements. The task will flow far more easily if you know exactly what you're going to do and in what order it's going to happen. There won't be problems with cohesion because you will have planned that in. You will have planned in your linking words. You'll write accurately because your focus is on language. As I said before, you'll be thinking about spelling, you'll be thinking about punctuation, you'll be thinking about linking words and grammar and all of that stuff. And all of that will make you write faster. Because if you have a good outline, all you're doing is taking that outline and expanding it using the vocabulary and sentence structures that you've already chosen, and that will give you time at the end to check. And if you have your own checklist of the mistakes that you know you sometimes make, you look at those first, get those out of the way, and then you can quickly skim through to see that there's nothing else. And why would you not do it? Because it helps you to do all those things. But a lot, maybe most, just don't. And it's such a pity because it can save you a lot of anguish and a lot of heartache around writing. Okay, so think about your planning, do it, and it will transform your writing and the writing process. Here again are the ways in which you can get more information from me if you would like to do that. Okay, so I expect to see everybody's writing now developing and flowering and flourishing because they're all doing great plans. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.